All right. Hey everybody, it is your boy People Killer D, and we're here to do a quick video. I say that every time my videos end up being like 45, 50 minutes. I swear, this is going to be a quick video. We're going to start doing a segment. Basically highlighting characters, all right? So I'm doing this from my roster so that when I speak about these kind of things, these are characters that I actually play with. So today, my spotlight is on this guy right here, Gunther. Gunther is my favorite ML character. Why? Because everyone thinks that Gunther is shit. All right. So even on the tier list, they think he's shit. So let's go ahead and talk about the pros and cons of Gunther. First, we'll cover the cons. All right. So Gunther is a 3-star character, right? So his base stats are a little low. Okay, cool. His passive does not allow him to crit. So no crit whatsoever. Here, let me. Boop. See that? That crit percent is 17. So, or was it actually his crit is 19. That was his effectiveness. Whatever. Anyway. So yeah. So Gunther cannot crit. Gunther has low base stats. And he's a 3-star. He's not flashy or anything like that. He doesn't have a specialty change. And his imprint is just flat attack. All right, now let's cover the pros. Very solid attacker, right? Because he's a light element attacker. He has no elemental weaknesses when it comes to attacking. Okay, so he's above every single element when it comes to attack. He has a bleed on his S1, and his S2 is a passive, right? And I talked about this just a few moments ago. His passive, what happens is that he gets bonus attack in return for him being unable to crit. So with his passive maxed out, you get 75% bonus attack. His S3 is a single target stun. It's not resisted. It's a single target stun that also does 30% additional damage when the enemy is bleeding. Let me repeat that. If they are bleeding, Gunther will do 30% additional damage to them. Not 30% additional attack, but 30% additional damage. So that counts into any resistances, any weaknesses, any defenses, any defense breaks, and anything that buffs his attack. So, with that being said, what are the best ways to gear up Gunther? In my personal experience, I have played around with a multitude of builds. My first build that was really successful with Gunther was a pure health build. All health pieces that had attack percentages on them, and health percentages and defense percentages. So basically he was a walking tank. Okay. He had like 4,200 attack. He had like 1,200 defense. He was at 14,000 HP. And I mean, he was standing tall against anything. But his damage was kind of lackluster because if there was nothing there to give him an additional boost, like an attack buff or something like that, he didn't really come off as the almighty and all-powerful. All right, cool. No problem. So we went with all attack, right? 4 pieces of attack, 2 pieces defense, or 2 pieces health. We got his attack to around 7,000, but his health was only like 8,000. His defense was 1,000. So the pro to this is he pretty much one-shot anything he came across. Downside to it is almost anything could one-shot him. So we had to make a compromise somewhere, right? Then the Azumata Hunt came around, and we were able to farm Rage gear. So here's the funny thing about Rage and how it works. One, it adds an additional 30% damage to a debuffed target. Let me say that again. 30% damage to a debuffed target. Not 30% attack, not 30% crit, not 30% crit damage. It is 30% total damage. So once when you do all your multipliers for everything else, then comes Rage and says, hey, I'm going to give you another 30%. That right there makes Gunther a very, very lethal character. Okay? So with Gunther being able to now yield more damage when an enemy is debuffed, since his first skill has a debuff on it, and his third skill has a debuff, and his third skill has a multiplier if the enemy is bleeding, which is another debuff. You're getting an additional 30% to your first initial attack with the S3, and then you get an additional 30% overall damage. That is substantial, people. Okay, so let's go ahead and cover the gist of the gear. So left side, what you want to focus on is attack percentage, health percentage, defense percentage, effectiveness. Okay, if you can get any of those four into your gear, you're good. Okay, speed, if you're going for PvP, then yes, go ahead and look for speed as well. If you're doing PvE, you don't really need speed that much because all you need is Gunther to just land and attack. That's all you really need him to do. Have someone that supplies him with a heal when he gets hit, and just let him swing his axe. That's it. All right, right side, main stat, attack. All right, main stack attack percentage on the right side. Substats you want to look for: health, speed, defense, and effectiveness. Okay? If you want to be more of the I want to make sure I land my bleeds with Gunther kind of person, then right side ring, effectiveness, main stat. Okay? Gunther has a pretty good percentage on landing his bleed. I believe it's 50%. Base stat at the beginning. If not, it's 35 and then it goes up to 50. Anyway, Gunther is pretty much straightforward. Attack, 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 attack. So when it comes to artifacts, we want to look for an artifact that, one, can boost his damage, and two, boost his damage well. So, in my opinion, I have 3 artifacts that I like for Gunther. 1, Ancient Sheath. Because Ancient Sheath increases the damage done from his S1. Okay? So if the enemy has a debuff on him and you have Rage, the Ancient Sheath procs before Rage. So Rage still adds on to that damage as well. So, Ancient Sheath would be a good one. If you're just auto attack Gunther, just 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. And then you might use his S3 when it's ready, right? The second one would be Exorcist Tonfa. Exorcist Tonfa is really good for increasing damage against enemies above 50% health. This is really good for Arena Gunther. Okay, Arena or Guild Wars Gunther, it's really good for him there because it gives you a really good chance of just insta-gibbing someone at the very beginning. Okay? And then my favorite is Daydream Joker because it adds a percentage of the enemy's health as damage. Okay? I've had people argue with me up and down about using Daydream Joker on Gunther. I'm going to tell you something. If the enemy has a whole bunch of HP, you want to use it on. Especially if you haven't built Rage. because he can do an astronomical amount of damage with that on there. All right, so let's go ahead and show you from a raid that I did last week with Gunther. As you see, the enemy has bleed, attack break, and defense break. I used Gunther's S3 Daydream Joker proc, and it did 23,000 damage with his S3. I can't think of anybody that can land a 9 crit for almost 24,000 damage outside of Gunther. But yeah. So for those of you who, oh man, I got Gunther, it's a bad rep. Don't even think about it like that. Have fun with him. Build him to do things that you wouldn't build other characters to normally do. And just watch the numbers as they go up for Gunther and when they attack and all that other stuff. If you have any questions, by all means, leave them in the comments below. Otherwise, thanks for watching. See you all next time. Bye, everybody.